Welcome. In this video I'm going to go over the procedure to rotate the tires on this 2018 Honda CR-V, and this will probably be about the same for any CR-V. So some of the equipment I'm going to use here is I have a jack. I like these bent head half-inch drive ratchets, and I have a long 19mm socket, and then I have a Tecton torque wrench, and I'll put a link in the description to some of these things, and if you use that link it helps me out a little bit. It doesn't cost you anything extra. So I said I have the jack, I have 4 jack stands, and I have cardboard to protect my knees. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is loosen up the lug nuts on all 4 wheels, so just break them loose. Oh, I should mention that the car is in park and the parking brake is on. Okay, so we'll do that to all 4 wheels. So the first thing I want to do is lift up the front. So I have the jack positioned here. That's under the subframe right here. So I'm going to lift that up, and then right here you have this little curve. That's your place to put your jack. So I'm going to lift it here and put the jack stand there. So you need the jack out at an angle so the jack stand will fit in there. And you want to lift it up till the tire's off the ground. You want to lift it up quite a bit, because when you lift the rear, it may go down a little bit. Okay, so we have the tire off the ground. I'll take the jack stand here, and you can see our jack point again. With the jack stand there, and then this jack stand has this little pin here. I imagine a lot of people don't use these. So now we can lower the car onto the jack stand. And I like to count the number of notches so I can do the same on both sides. So I've got the front jacked up on both sides. Now we're going to jack up the rear. I'll show you the positioning of the jack here. And we're in a rear-wheel drive car. Okay, so I'm under the rear. I have the jack coming in from the rear. And I'm going to slide the jack in and lift it up right here under the differential. Okay, so we have the tires off the ground, and I'll put the jack stands under the jack points there. Okay, so I have the rear jack stands under these jack points here. I'll lower this down until it's just touching, and I'll leave the jack in place. Okay, now we'll remove the wheels. So as I said earlier, I use a flex head ratchet. What you want to do is you want to remove these 5 lug nuts, and I like to leave the bottom one in last. If you take that one out first, the wheel can kind of pull forward, and then it binds up the top ones. So you can loosen it up like this, and then with these flex head you can do it like this and use it almost like a bit and brace. And then the bottom one, a lot of times I'll put my foot here so it doesn't fall forward. Now I take my foot out of the way. This will come loose. So I'll do that to all 4 tires. Okay, so I have all 4 wheels loose now, and I looked in the manual, and this one actually rotates similar to a lot of front-wheel drives. Typically you cross the non-drive tires. This is all-wheel drive, but you treat it like a front-wheel drive. So the front tires will go to the back. Back tires go to the front, but you cross the back tires. So this tire will go back here. This one will go to the driver's side front. The driver's side front will go to the driver's side rear. Driver's side rear will go to the passenger front. So while you have your tires off, it's a good time to inspect them for any rips or tears. You want to look at the tread, and you see here there's a little wear pattern in here, and it needs to be above that. That's when if it's below that, it's bald, and your tire may look like this on one side, and it could be bald on the other, and if it's bald anywhere on the tire, it's considered bald, and I think it's actually illegal to drive on in most places. So, and then if you have any punctures, if it's in this area, it's repairable. If it's past this line over, that's considered sidewall. That's not repairable. So we'll look for any nails or anything. If you get nails, put a little soapy water on it and see if it's leaking at all and stuff. So it's a good idea to check those if there's cracks in the sidewalls, things like that. And you can play it by ear. If it's a car you only use in town at low speeds, may not be as important, but if you're going to be going on a road trip, you want good tires. Okay, so to mount the tires up, we'll lift it up and put it on the lug nuts. You want to make sure the wheel is sitting flush to the back of the disc brake. I like to put my foot down at the bottom, and then I'll put a nut on the bottom to hold that. I like deep sockets because I can use those easily here to put the lug nuts on. So I'll tighten that as hard as I can, twist with my fingers here. And I'll do the same for all the lug nuts. So I have this bottom one tight. I don't worry about tightening these top ones tight because the bottom one will keep it flush against the disc. Now that I have that on, I'll use my ratchet here and I'll spin them all on. Okay, so I have them all tight, and I'm not using the leverage of the wrench, I'm just using it like this, and I tighten it on there. I tighten in a star pattern, so they want to go across, and I know it's seated well. So that's tightened for now, and I will lower it and then torque them. And you don't want any grease or oil on your threads. You can use a wire brush to clean them. You could use some brake clean if you have oil or grease on there now, but you're not going to get proper torque if anything's lubricated. So I'll do that to all four wheels. Okay, so I have all the wheels on. I have the lugs tight, but not wrenched down super tight. They're all snug. So we left this jack back here in the back. There's a little pressure on it still. We can just lift that up a little bit, and we can take these front jack stands out. And then we'll do the opposite of how we lifted this. We'll lift each subframe, and we'll pull these jack stands out. And you know, if you're uncomfortable with this and you don't know how to be safe, then maybe get someone to help you the first time. So I'm not going over every safety thing. I'll try and mention some things, but we'll get those down, then we'll go over the torque procedure. Okay, so now I have my Tecton torque wrench, and what I want to do is, this is 83 foot-pounds, I think, is the torque on here. So I'll rotate this, and you want the 0 to line up with 80. I don't know if I can get this on here. I'll turn it and then I'll show it. Okay, see if I can get that. So the 0 is lined up with 80, and you see that little line kind of goes to the side. You want the bottom portion of that. And then we want 83, so I'll just turn this until the middle line is on 3. So right there, and then I'll lock it in. Then you want to put this on the socket, and then you want to push down here, and you want to push it until it clicks once. We're going to do this in a star pattern. Okay, so we've torqued all 5 lugs. So you want to come back in, I don't know, I think it's 250 to 500 miles later, and then retorque these. If you have aluminum wheels. Steel wheels you don't need to, but aluminum wheels you're supposed to check the torque on them. So I'll do that to all 4 wheels. Okay, I have all 4 wheels torqued down, and when you rotate your tires, it's a good time to check your air pressure, and this is a good example here. This car requires 33 front and 30 rear. Some cars are the same, some are different, so if this had the proper air pressure in it before, then this will be swapped since we swapped the wheels. So you want to adjust your air pressure, and you want to do that when it's cold. I'm not making a video on air pressure. You can Google that if you want to know exactly the best way to do it. So that's it for this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, please click like If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate it if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.